All right, guys, today's Monday, December 12th. Just going to be a quick analysis on the Euro USD. I made a post yesterday regarding the setup on the Euro USD. Now, I had a long position going and I closed them out basically because I started seeing a rising wedge coupled with negative divergence or bearish divergence on the MACD. So, just to take a quick look back of the previous trade. It was based off of that trend line that I was looking at right here. I took a long position at 1.024 and it was a really slow grind. You can see it was like little by little up here, hit resistance, came back down, up here, hit resistance, and now it's just kind of like chopping around sideways. Didn't really make any major moves up or down yet. I had two positions. This was the first one. The second one I think was 03 63 or something like that, somewhere around here. And I closed for a combined, I think it was about 420, 400 and something pips. I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but I sent it out on the newsletter email with the trade setup. So I closed those two. That was a pretty decent trade, although I was aiming specifically for this zone up here. And remember, I was talking about this previous support level here, getting in between those median levels, and then take profit up here and then potentially go for a short. So that didn't happen, at least not yet, for what I'm seeing. So yeah, I took this long position here, closed it out, and if I remove this, this is what I'm looking at now. Let me put those line backs on, trend lines back. Okay, so this is what I came across. So this is a really good setup, but again, just because it's a good setup doesn't mean that the market is gonna do what you were looking for it to do. Of course, we always got to manage a risk, right? So looking at the rising wedge, this looks like you can just tell from the price action that the up move is getting weaker and weaker. That now, does that mean that this is going to completely turn around and we're going to make a big major move 100%? Not exactly, right? So the market can still make a big push up, surprise everyone, and then invalidate this setup. And anybody who's going short, such as myself, or if you're short yourself, you know, the market move up here and take you out. I have my stops up here, 100 pip stop I always use. And, you know, that'll be that. And then I'll re-evaluate the trade going into the end of the year, see if we get up here and then maybe another shorting opportunity. I'll get into that in a second. But another thing, combined with this rising wedge, I also like to look at other indications, right? This is a pivotal level right here, even though it's the very end of the year. And this MACD negative divergence, you can see starting from here, we started making, you know, slightly higher highs. Right over here, this is a high, and then it's kind of like, you know, it balanced out right over here. Meanwhile, the MACD is not making higher highs. It's just making a slow grind lower and lower and lower as this gets higher. So this is the setup now. So I went short on Friday, and I'd be looking for a move at least to this point over here, this median level, in between these two median levels here, and that'll be good for 400 pips if it works out that way. If not, then if I start, as soon as I start seeing like strong bullish momentum, right back, let's say 1.06, I'm just gonna get out of the trade, and that's gonna be that. And another reason I'm also looking for us to keep below this, I'll show you right now. If we just hide these trend lines over here, is this right over here. Okay, so we hit this resistance here off of this trend line, came back, tested it again, we creeped above it, but what's important is that we closed below it, and then we creeped up on it again. Now, I was expecting for the market to close last week above this, And then I mentioned before that I said if we get above this, I'm gonna look at this trend line now as my support, jump on another long position, and then ride it up a little bit higher, maybe another 150, 200 pips. But didn't happen. So is this showing weakness? Possibly. The only thing that I'm kind of wary of is that if the market wants to make a move up here because of, like, let's say for example, let's look at the um the weekly chart, right? This trend line coming down here. I was looking for this to make a continuation up here because of this previous support. But if the market doesn't want to do that, sometimes we're looking for the market to do something because we want it to do it, not because the chart, and it's happened to me many times where you just have this target fixed in your mind and say, oh, it's gonna go up here, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go up. But then the price action is kind of showing you something different. Does that mean you're gonna be wrong? Not necessarily, but you just have to play by what you see on the chart. If price action is showing you that momentum is slowing down, you're gonna have to take heed on that. That's the reason why I just took the profit. Again, it's fine. It was a combined over 400 pips with two positions. That's perfectly fine. It's still a good trade. But if you look at this as a wedge, right, as opposed to this trend line, let me just hide this and I put this back on. Let's say, what did I do? Did I put it back? I don't know. I must have deleted it or something. But I just fine. I can just draw it back out. Okay. It looks like the up move is losing momentum up here, right? And I just have to go with that. So again, if it starts pushing up higher with showing some strength, then it is what it is. Just chalk it up to another trade, no big deal, and then we'll just move on. But if it starts moving lower, then I look for this level here. Now, I know before I said, you know what, maybe this market is going to come all the way down, make a new low. But again, I follow monthly and quarterly charts, and I want you guys to check this out. If I look over to this quarterly chart, it's kind of making this huge wedge. Now, the quarterly chart is an extremely long time frame, but in my opinion, it's really important to look at it anyway. You see this wedge over here. It found support here, over here, over here, and then it found strong support here. Now, I don't know if this is going to be, this is a falling wedge in the making, and then we're going to make it continue higher, like, to 1.2 up here, where there was a previous resistance zone. Right, and on top of that, you have a MACD on the quarterly chart trending higher. That looks pretty bullish. But again, this is a very long time frame, so we're just gonna have to see how it develops. But it could give us a kind of like an insight on if the market, if this on the daily chart it moves down and it starts basing out around here to continue higher. Excuse me. Now you know that there's a good potential for this market to be turned completely bullish as opposed to the bearish moves that it's been making since May 2021 when it started up here all the way down here. So we'll have to see what happens. In the last newsletter I sent out, I said this was a very important week, and the reason is because we have a ton of important data coming out. Let me see if I can actually, no, let me see. I was going to pull up Forex Factory. But yeah, if you pull that up, you can see that we have Fed news coming out, interest rates starting tomorrow. I believe it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We all have high impact data coming out. So that could be a big moving factor for the market going forward. And yeah, we just have to see how this plays out. So right now the setup looks good, but again, always have to manage a risk. Anything can happen in the market, and regardless of how good a setup looks on the chart, you always have to take precautions and play defense and protect your capital, right? So right now we have this bearish divergence and a bearish rising wedge, but we'll just have to see how it develops. So with that said, we'll see what happens, and you know, I'll try to update again towards the end of the week, and I'll update this also on the internal trader website, where I post updates on before and afters on the trade that you can look at. I have other trades that I post on there as well, and yeah, so we'll just take a look and see what happens.